Hello and welcome to the A to Z guide for MidJourney. If you are a MidJourney beginner right now, by the end of this video, you will be a MidJourney Pro. And if you are a beginner, I recommend watching this video all the way through at least once to learn the ins and outs of MidJourney. But if you're more advanced, then you can go down to the chapters below and you can find exactly what you're needing help with right now. Because this video is all encompassing. It's going to cover the basics, such as installing MidJourney and how to get started. And then it's going to go all the way up to the more advanced topics like advanced prompting and tweaking your images later on. First, we're going to look at some of the ways that I am personally using MidJourney and some of the images that I've been able to generate with it. And then we're going to jump into the brass tacks and get down to business, teach you everything that there is to know. This is one of my favorite images that I've been able to generate using MidJourney. You can see the prompt above, and this is one of the simpler images that you are going to see in today's video, but it's also one of my favorites, mainly because this prompt is 100% original. I came up with it myself, and also just because I love this aesthetic, so much so that I even made this my desktop background. So one of my favorite images, had to throw it in here. Next up, we have this Erlenmeyer flask. And the thing that I like the most about this is that it has these splatters in the background and these droplets. And we didn't even ask MidJourney to add that. If you look at the prompt above, you'll notice that there's nowhere where it says add droplets or add a splatter, but it did anyways. And I loved the look of it. So much so that my brother and I made this the profile picture on our Discord channel for MidJourney prompting. This is a world that I had in my mind that I wanted to bring to life. So I wrote a prompt in MidJourney and I was able to get these cute little houses, and supposedly they have furry little aliens living inside of them. If you take a look at the prompt, I tried this scene in a few different times of day and also in a few different biomes. Like for one, I did it in plains, and then I did it with some canals running around these houses. And I did it at night with stars in the sky. I did it in the morning, but I really love how this one came out with the warm golden hour lighting. This one makes me realize just how insane this AI image generation has gotten. And it's quite literally a human that we're looking at here. And although it doesn't look realistic in the sense that it is a little bit exaggerated, it does look realistic in that this really does look like a person. And this one was just one that I personally liked. I love the Neo Tokyo cyberpunk looking cities, and this came out cool. In fact, this is something that I might be interested in getting a print of and having it hanging on my wall. It's just a really neat look, and I love coffee, and this looked like coffee, so I decided I'd throw this into the slideshow. Next up, I just wanted to show you an example of how realistic this can get. So this is an image that my brother generated in our Discord channel of a real person. And as you can see, the prompts include hyper-realistic photography and also just some other photography prompts to get this realistic looking image. This one is disturbing, but it's quite creative, and I wanted to throw it in here. I won't spend too much time on this creepy clown, but I wanted to show it because in a weird way, I was kind of proud of this prompt. And finally, we're going to finish off with another simple prompt. And that's what I found, guys, is like once you find a style that you like, you're just going to keep using those prompts over and over again. And you're really going to want to see that style come up time and time again, whether it's for your brand or just for your personal satisfaction. But here's another Japanese lo-fi style image of a man just waiting on a subway. And I like using that shadows and lighting prompt because it really creates some stark contrast in the image, and I just love the way it comes out. Let's take a look at MidJourney pricing. MidJourney has a free trial, so you can try it out with about a half-hour worth of GPU time. This is just how long you can use their GPUs for to generate images. So it's 0.4 hours of lifetime use. And then after that, if you enjoy MidJourney and you want to move forward and also get commercial rights to your images, then you can upgrade to the basic, standard, or pro plan. And the basic plan is good for really light users, but I would tend to lean towards the standard or pro plan if you are going to be using this for your business or you're going to be using it more intensely, because they have some unlimited options. Granted, the relaxed GPU time is a bit slower, but the fast GPU time offers quite a few hours every month. Personally, I'm on the standard plan, so I get 15 hours of image generation every single month, and this has proven to be the perfect plan for me, but I might upgrade to Pro at some point. The other benefits of Pro are stealth mode, and you can also run a lot more concurrent jobs. But the pricing is pretty straightforward. Just check out this table and see which plan is right for you. Next, I'm going to show you how to sign up for MidJourney. The first step is to head over to MidJourney.com. Once you're on MidJourney.com, you're going to click Join the Beta. They're going to invite you to their Discord server, and you can just click Accept Invite. If you don't have a Discord account yet, then create a Discord account and make sure that your email is verified with Discord. Otherwise, you won't be able to log in on MidJourney and access your account settings. So once you have a Discord account, just click Accept Invite. And then it's going to open Discord, or it's going to prompt you to open Discord. So what you want to do is just hit Open Discord if you have the app on your computer right here in the pop-up, or you can hit Continue to Discord and it will take you to Discord in the browser. I'm just going to open Discord as an application on my computer. Once you are on Discord, you're going to notice that you see all of your servers over here. You might not have a ton of servers. You might just have MidJourney if you don't use Discord regularly. But regardless, you're going to want to find MidJourney, which is this little sailboat icon on the left-hand side of the screen, and you're going to want to click into it. And once you click into it, you're going to see all of the channels within MidJourney. So these are just different topics or different rooms, you can think of them as, within the MidJourney server. And you can learn a lot about MidJourney just by going through these rooms and chatting with people, and also going to like the announcements channel, for instance. This is where the founders and the members over at MidJourney will essentially give you different announcements about MidJourney. Like when there's a crazy demand spike and they have to temporarily disable free trials in this case. Once you've signed into MidJourney with a verified Discord account, then you can actually upgrade to a paid MidJourney account. So I'm going to show you how to upgrade after logging in. Once you've joined MidJourney's Discord server, you can head back to their website at midjourney.com. And once you're here, you can actually sign into MidJourney itself using your Discord account. So just hit sign in and authorize. Once you're signed in, you're going to see all of your image generations that you've upscaled right down here, and you can toggle to your grids as well, but you probably won't see anything in this area right now. What you'll want to do is hit Manage Sub. This is going to allow you to sign up for a subscription plan. Here, it shows me how many hours I've spent of my generation time for this current month. It also allows me to buy more fast hours. And it shows me the day that I'm going to be billed and the plan that I'm on. But if you want to sign up for a plan, you can do so down here. You can also downgrade or upgrade your plan as well. Now I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can interact with the MidJourney bot and start generating amazing images. Let's head back to Discord. Once you're on Discord, you should see the member list over here. If you don't, make sure to click this button right here to toggle it. So it just says show member list. You can click that and then it will show you the member list. And you will notice that there is a MidJourney bot in here. One of the ways that you can interact with it is just by right-clicking it and clicking message. Now, this method of interacting with the MidJourney bot is for paid users only, so keep that in mind. But what you can do here is just click into this message area and hit /, and then you can type in any sort of prompts that you want for MidJourney. So imagine and then I can start typing a prompt for an image here. The next way to interact with the MidJourney bot for free trial users, if you are on a free trial, is to head over to the MidJourney server and utilize these newcomer rooms. So you'll see newbies 4, newbies 34, and you'll see a few more channels right here where you can go to prompt MidJourney. So you can click on any of these newbies and scroll to the bottom, and you will see that people are generating images in here live as we go here. So you're just going to see tons of images flying in, and you're also going to see the prompt that they used to create that image. So what you can do is you can enter your prompt here by hitting /imagine and typing in your prompt. The final method for interfacing with MidJourney that I prefer above all the other methods is creating your own server and inviting the MidJourney bot to that server. Again, this is a paid feature that MidJourney allows. You can't invite your bot to your server without being a paid user. However, if you do have free trial users on your server, it seems that it allows them to use their free trial hours on your server. So if you have friends that want to try MidJourney out, you can invite them and they can start using the bot on your server. Now I'm going to show you how to create a server and invite the MidJourney bot. First, you're just going to click this green plus button down here. Add a server, create my own, and it doesn't really matter what you enter here. You can even skip this question if you want to. And here you can upload an image. I'm just going to name this MidJourney Private and hit create. And from here, you'll notice that we have a general channel that's a text channel. This is where we can type things. And then we also have a voice channel where we can chat with friends. If I want to utilize MidJourney on this server, I have to invite MidJourney to this server. So let's head back to the MidJourney server and right click this bot, click profile, and then hit add to server. From here, you can select the server that you want to add the bot to. I'm going to click on a MidJourney Private, and I'm going to hit continue. Then you have to make sure that these are checked and hit authorize. I am a human. And now it's authorized. So if I click out of that and head back over to my MidJourney private server that I've just created, I can now prompt the MidJourney bot in my general text channel. You can also create more channels if you want to. So if you have friends that want to use MidJourney, you can name the channel after them. So I'll just say Carter MidJourney images for this channel. And just make sure it's a text channel. Then if you want it private, so only selected members can view this, you can set that. But I'm just going to keep mine at Carter MidJourney images and hit create channel. Now, if I wanted to, I could enter my prompts in general, but I can also enter them in my text channel, Carter MidJourney images. Now let's talk about the settings command with the MidJourney bot. So you're just going to go into any server or a private chat with the MidJourney bot and click in the message area. Then you're going to hit / and type settings. Hit enter. And then hit enter again. And now you're going to send the settings command to the MidJourney bot. And it's going to allow you to tap these buttons to set up whatever version of MidJourney that you want to play with. If you are a paid user, you'll have up to MidJourney version 5. MidJourney version 5 is incredible. However, there are situations where you may want to go to an earlier version, such as MidJourney version 4. The next section allows you to change to a different rendering mode for MidJourney. So you have Niji mode, which is like an anime rendering. You have MJ Test and MJ Test Photo, which are more realistic versions of rendering in MidJourney. Then there's the quality level. So you have half quality all the way up to high quality, which is 2x the cost, and style levels. I recommend leaving your quality on base and your style on medium to begin with. These are the defaults for MidJourney, and you'll get some pretty good images this way. If you want to tweak these later, you can always come back to the settings tab. Public mode will allow others to see your generations on MidJourney, and this is the default if you don't have the Pro plan. If you do have the Pro plan, you can switch to stealth mode, and let me show you what it does if I try to switch. I don't have a Pro plan, so it's saying that I don't get private mode. So if you want to, you can go ahead and upgrade right here. Remix mode allows you to make a variation of your image after it's generated. And then you'll notice that we have fast mode and relax mode. Relax mode takes a lot longer to generate your images, but if you're on a paid plan, this relax mode is unlimited. Whereas fast mode will use up your fast hours, but it's definitely a good option for people that want to get their images fast. You can just click dismiss message to hide these settings after you select the settings that you want to use. Now I'm going to show you how to create your first image using MidJourney. Go into Discord, click into your message area and hit /, then type imagine, space, and now you are in the prompt box. So you can type in any prompt for an image that you want to create. So let's type a Siberian Husky in a tundra with ice and snowflakes. Make it intense, shadowy, vibrant, exciting. And I'm just going to hit enter and see what we get. It will take some time, and while it's loading, it'll say waiting to start. And finally, our image will start generating, and it will show us the percentage of completion right here, and it will also tell us the mode that we're in, so it'll say fast here. And as you can see, our Husky is coming to fruition. And check out these finished images. At this point, you can go ahead and upscale these images if you would like. I like image 3 the best right here, so I'm going to hit U3 to upscale image 3. And then it's going to create a larger version of this image, and I can see it up close. If I want to save this, I can right click it, and you can save the image here, but that will save it as a WebP. What I recommend is hitting open link. Once you open that link, it will show up in your web browser, and you can right click it and hit save image as to save it on your computer as a PNG. As you can see, it got all the details that we wanted. It got some ice and some snowflakes, and we have our Siberian Husky in the wild. Next, I'm going to show you how to influence the style of your image using MidJourney. I'm just going to type in cows grazing in a grassy pasture. And then I'm going to type in the style of Japanese lo-fi, comma, 64-bit, comma, shadows, and lighting. And I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see, this has produced some cartoonish yet somewhat realistic looking cows grazing in a grassy pasture. And this look is very interesting. They gave us some overhead views, they gave us some side views, and they gave us some views with some depth and some trees involved. Now I could upscale some of these, but what I would really like to do at this point is try to get some more realistic pictures. I want these to look like they really came from a camera. So I'm going to copy my prompt here. And I'm going to hit /imagine, and I'm going to paste it. And where it says cows grazing in a grassy pasture, that is okay. I'm going to delete the rest of this though. And I'm going to type taken on a Canon 80D with a wide angle lens at blue hour, and then comma cinematic, comma epic, comma moonlight. Now let's hit enter on that and see what kind of image that produces. And as you can see, this has generated some very realistic images that look like they could have been taken on a DSLR during blue hour. It looks like they took these in the form of a long exposure almost as well, because you can see that the sky is still a little bit bright. And these ones over here, you can even see some of the stars. So this one starting prompt, cows grazing in a grassy pasture, can turn out a whole lot different based on the styling of the image. Let's try a couple more prompts to get some different ideas of images we can pull from this initial base prompt. So /imagine cows grazing in a grassy pasture in the style of a 3D Unity render, comma, Octane render, comma, 3D sculpture, comma, ray trace, comma, 4K, comma, dramatic light, comma, focused, comma, detail. So this one should look a little bit more like a realistic 3D render. I'm gonna hit enter. And as you can see, this generates something that looks like a realistic video game. And let's do one more cows grazing in a grassy pasture style, just to show you once again that we can change the style of this image. So cows grazing in a grassy pasture, painted by Francis Barlow, who was an animal painter, comma, epic. Since Francis Barlow drew these animals in black and white typically, I'm also going to add in color and just see what happens with that. And I'll do comma vibrant. And this could turn out pretty crazy, guys, because the style of art that Francis Barlow did was typically in black and white. So let's just go ahead and copy this prompt, /imagine, enter, paste our prompt, and hit enter. All right, and now we have some paintings of these cows, and these certainly are vibrant images. If you're looking for a very specific type of image, it's important to be specific with your prompt. For example, I might type /imagine a potion sitting on a white table with a white background. And if I hit enter, the images I get on the other side are quite intriguing. But let's imagine that I wanted this potion to be a specific color and I want it to be in a specific type of bottle. Well, you can define those things right here by hitting /imagine. And if I want to see a red potion in a volumetric flask, so I'm going to type a red potion in a volumetric flask sitting on a white table with a white background. And then I'm going to hit comma, and let's add some descriptive adjectives like magical, glimmering, and sensorial. Now let's hit enter to get that specific look that we're going for. And as you can see, we're now getting a different type of red potion. This thing is a little bit longer necked, and this is actually what I was going for, a little bit more. But let's imagine that we want it to look more magical. We want it to glimmer a little bit more. We want it to be more sensorial. Let's take this to the next level. I'm going to copy this prompt all the way up to white background. And let's go ahead and hit /imagine and paste that prompt. And then something that can help with your prompts is adding these different aesthetic styles like cyberpunk or steampunk. I'm just going to type in steampunk style, comma, wizard style, comma, magic liquid. Enter. And as you can see, these are getting a little bit crazier. This one, you can even see the liquid like moving around in there. This one looks like the liquid has something going on with it. This one looks like it's boiling and it has this neat little handle. So we went from a very general prompt that gave us lots of ambiguity in terms of what it produced. And then we gave it a little bit more definition. And finally, we made it exactly what we wanted here. But let's go ahead and retry a prompt that I've used in the past. And I want to get this even crazier looking. A magical, vibrant, steampunk Erlenmeyer flask with red boiling substance sitting on a white table, white background, 4K. Enter. Now this looks pretty neat, but let's imagine we go to version 4 really quick, because version 4 can make a difference in terms of your prompts. So I'm just going to hit /settings, enter, enter again. And instead of version 5, I'm going to click on version 4. And now it's going to default to the older version. So let's see what this looks like in version 4. /imagine, paste. As you can see, version 4 goes a little bit crazier and the chaos is probably higher in version 4. See, this is the same prompt, and while version 5 generated some very realistic looking images, version 4 generated some crazy looking flasks. So I guess it just depends on the look that you're going for, but sometimes it can be helpful to switch between versions with your prompts as well. Version 4 seemed to generate a more chaotic image, while version 5 generated a more realistic looking image. Now, while being specific can get you some great results, another great strategy is to leave out the details and leave it to MidJourney to decide what the image should be. So next, I'm going to show you how to use less in your prompts to create some fantastic images. Let's switch back to MidJourney version 5. By the way, you can also add --v space 5 at the end of your prompts to add MidJourney version 5 to any prompt, even if you are in MidJourney version 4. Let's hit /imagine. And now let's leave it to MidJourney to decide what we should make this image about. For the prompt, I'm just going to type love, comma, imagination, comma, happiness, comma, vibrant, and I'm just going to hit enter. So these are ideas, these are concepts, and sometimes these are hard to picture something for, or there could be a lot of interpretation that goes into picturing something like this. But MidJourney is going to take all of the images that it's been trained on, and it's going to use Stable Diffusion to figure out what I want to see here. And this could be exciting. Let's check out what MidJourney generates. It included quite a few images of people and mostly female characters. It also included some words. I don't know how I feel about these random letters at the bottom here, but I would say that these images are pretty incredible. MidJourney can also help us imagine what a place might look like that we have in our imagination. So you can give it these really crazy ideas of a place, and it can bring it into fruition and show you what that place might look like. For instance, if you've had a dream about something and you want to try to bring it to life and show your friends or see it again for yourself, then you could recreate it in MidJourney. Let's type in something crazy like an endless stairway puzzle in space that is a fractal. Okay, this just sounds absolutely insane, but I just want to see what it generates. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this, but this is pretty spooky because I would imagine this is exactly what this prompt would look like, but it's just quite surreal to look at it after typing that in and having a GPU generate an image of it. Next, we're looking at parameters in MidJourney so that you can fit your image to specific requirements that you might have. The first parameter that we're going to take a look at is aspect ratio, and this is going to allow you to see your image in a widescreen format or in a really tall format or somewhere in between. But the point of aspect ratio is to change the dimensions of your image. So let's jump in and show you how that's done. With any parameter that you're adding, you're just going to need to start with a prompt. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it after hitting slash, typing imagine and enter. I'm gonna paste that and space. And from here, I can just hit dash dash, and that's how we start a parameter. And then I'm going to type AR, or for aspect ratio, you can type aspect. It's however you want to do it. AR is quicker, so I'm going to go with that. And then you hit space and you just type in the aspect ratio. A common aspect ratio that people use is 16:9. It's what this YouTube video is in. So let's hit enter and let's see what that produces. As you can see, this creates a much more immersive image, and it also creates that widescreen effect that we see in YouTube videos like this one. So if I wanted to upscale one of these, let's hit upscale. Which one do we like best here? I'm gonna go with number 4. So I'm gonna upscale 4. That's going to allow me to just see this image in full quality. And then if I open the link and drag this into frame, you'll notice that this is the same aspect ratio as this video. So if I zoomed in far enough, you would notice that essentially this image will fill up the screen perfectly. Pretty much, as you can see. It's also important to note that different versions of MidJourney allow for different aspect ratios. Version 5 fortunately allows for any aspect ratio that you could imagine, while version 4 allows for 1:2, 2:1, and then also 1:1, 2:3, and 3:2 for 4A or 4B. And version 3 allows for 5:2, 2:5, while Test P, the photorealistic version of MidJourney, allows for 3:2 and 2:3. And Niji, which is the anime version of MidJourney, allows for 1:2 and 2:1. Typically, MidJourney version 5 can create multiple types of images, so I tend to stick with this, and MidJourney version 5 is quite impressive. You know, you don't really need to go to the other versions, so if you need some crazy aspect ratio, you're in luck because MidJourney 5 can support it. The next parameter that we're taking a look at is chaos. Chaos will make your images different. So right now I have a default value of chaos on these particular images here. And if I were to copy this prompt and paste it, I'll show you how chaos works. So all of these are quite similar, right? They don't have a lot of variance, but if I use a high chaos value, they'll be more varied. Because by default, the chaos value is 0. So if I hit slash and I type imagine and hit enter, paste that prompt, and then I hit dash dash C or dash dash chaos, and then I type a value of 0 to 100, anywhere between 0 and 100. 0 is the default, and 100 is the maximum chaos. So let's just see what 50 chaos looks like, and I'm just going to hit enter on that. And as you can see, we're getting quite a bit more variance here. We're getting some different types of bottles, a little bit of a different scene here. The bottle might be in a different part of the frame. But if I go ahead and copy this and change the chaos value to 100, we should get even more varied results. So let's just go ahead and type slash imagine, enter, and we're just going to enter the prompt once again, except this time we're going to go dash dash C 100 because that's another way to add a chaos parameter. You do need to make sure on all of your parameters that you're adding a space between the command and the value. I'm going to hit enter. And now that the C100 image is generated, you'll notice that we get some different angles. We even get some extra residue on the outside of the bottle. As you can see, the C100 version is a whole lot more varied than the C50 version. And it even included some residue around the outside of the bottle, a few different angles, and lots of different bottle styles, along with some different scenes. If we go all the way back to the original variant, you'll notice that it's very plain and they're all quite similar in terms of what kind of liquid we get and what kind of background we're getting. Next, let's take a look at the no parameter. This allows you to remove a specific item from an image. So in this image, for instance, there are lots of clouds and lots of trees. But if I wanted to get rid of clouds or trees, I could add the no parameter to a prompt. So let's go ahead and copy this prompt. You see what it looks like now with the trees and the clouds. Now let's first just type /imagine, paste our prompt, and we're going to type --no, and then we're going to space, and we're going to type the word that we want to avoid. So I want to avoid trees for this first one. I'm going to hit enter. As you can see, it's followed the instructions and it's generated 4 new images with no trees. Almost all of the previous images had trees, but MidJourney is so good at picking these things out that it can even eliminate things from a scene. Now, for whatever reason, let's imagine that we don't want to see the sun, because the sun is a common theme in a lot of these images here. So what I could do is just copy this prompt, hit /imagine, paste it, and we already have no trees, but let's also type --no space sun and hit enter. Now, as you can see, it's generated images with no sun, but these images are starting to look quite weird. So this might not be the best bet going with 2 no parameters. It's just something to note that you can add 2 no parameters if you want to remove multiple things from your image. The next parameter we're taking a look at is the quality parameter. And the quality parameter does just what you would imagine. It changes the quality of the image. So when it comes to versions 5 and version 4, these 2 versions automatically have maximum quality, which is a quality of 1. You can also try quality 2.5 and quality 0.5 if you want to get lower quality images. For version 3, version 2, and version 1, you can go up to quality 2. And for anime mode, the Niji mode, this one is also limited to quality 1. But typically, I've found that version 4 and 5 and also this Niji mode are a little bit more advanced out of the gate. So a quality 1 on some of those prompts is going to look a lot better than a quality 2 on some of the older versions of MidJourney. Let's take a look at what a quality 1 versus a quality 0.25 looks like. I'm going to type in /imagine a bowl of peaches at the beach, and I will type in quality 0.25, and that is going to set the quality to the lowest amount of quality. And this is what we get. But now let's go ahead and try a quality of 1. So I'm going to paste this and we're just going to change quality to a whole number of 1. And we're going to copy that, hit /imagine, enter, and paste it and enter. Now let's see what kind of image we get with a quality of 1. Quality 1 will cost us more GPU hours, but as you can see, it produces a much better looking image than a quality of 0.25. These peaches are kind of weird looking. Some of them are blue, some of them are in like a weird looking bowl, or they're cut off. Whereas these ones down here on the quality 1 version have held their continuity and they look quite realistic. The next parameter that we're taking a look at is the seed parameter. And this parameter allows us to create very similar images if we like the specific look of something. So let's go ahead and take a look at the seed parameter. The seed parameter allows you to enter a number between 0 and 4,294,967,295. So you can decide what number you want. There are lots of numbers that you could enter here, but that's going to generate a specific type of image. So my prompt here is just planet Earth in the style of Japanese lo-fi with outrageous stars surrounding it. And then I put a space, dash, dash, seed, and then I'm going to enter another space, and I'm going to enter seed 147. So seed 147, and I'm going to hit enter. This image came out quite nice, so let's imagine that I wanted to recreate it. Well, if I just copied this prompt and pasted it in, I might get somewhat similar looking images, but if I want something that's pretty much exactly what we're seeing here, not to a T, but almost exactly what we're seeing here, then I'm gonna wanna copy this seed and add that to my prompt as well. So we're going to go ahead and copy this whole prompt and start over, and I'll show you how similar this can look if we add this seed space 147 to the end of our prompt once again. Is done, and as you can see, it produced the exact same image as the ones above. So if you ever want to reference the exact image and regenerate it, you can just use the same seed. The next parameter we're taking a look at is the stop parameter. And this parameter allows you to stop the generation of an image in MidJourney at whatever percentage that you want. So this means you can select a number between 10 and 100, and MidJourney will stop generating the image at that point, and that will be the finished result of your image. So let's grab this prompt right here. I'm going to copy it, /imagine, and we're going to paste it. And next I'm going to type dash dash stop space, and we're going to enter the value that we want it to stop at. So let's say we want it to stop at 30%. So I'm going to say 30 and hit enter. And as you can see, rather than generating this full image, it generated these blurry sort of half images. And that is what stop 30 would do. Again, you can go all the way from stop 10 to stop 100 to get different looks in your images. Next, we're looking at the stylization parameter. The stylization parameter allows you to basically deviate from your prompt a bit if you want an image that looks more artistically pleasing. So if you have a very high style value, then what it's going to do is it's going to generate an image that it thinks is artistically pleasing, opposed to matching exactly what your prompt says. But a low stylization is going to give you a more accurate depiction of exactly word for word what your prompt says. So this can be very useful if you're looking for MidJourney to take the wheel a little bit and make something look more artistic. But it can also be useful if you're trying to just completely match exactly what you're typing in with a lower stylization value. So let me show you an example of this. I grabbed this prompt from another Discord server, and I think I even showcased this image in the beginning of this video, but it just says Japanese lo-fi style, a man waiting in a subway, 64-bit style, shadows and lighting, clean, simple, satisfying. And we're going to use this to illustrate what Stylize does. So by default, Stylize is set to 100 in MidJourney version 5. But if you want to, you can go all the way up to 1,000 or all the way down to 0. So I'm curious what MidJourney will do if I go all the way up to 1,000. So I'm just going to type in dash dash stylize space, and I'm going to enter 1,000. Let's see how crazy MidJourney goes at 1,000. This image is complete and it makes it look quite realistic opposed to the last time that I used this prompt. But now let's go ahead and grab this prompt once again, and we're going to try a lower stylized value and see what we come up with. Let's go with stylize 10. So this one generated a lot faster, and as you can see, it's prioritizing exactly what I said here, more so than the artistic value. This one is a lot more lo-fi looking, and it's certainly a man waiting in a subway, quite literally. In these ones, he seems to be on a subway train in some of these, or maybe he's not in a subway train. Here it looks like he is. So this is the difference between Stylize 1000 and Stylize 10. Stylize 10 takes what I'm saying a little bit more literally, and it is influenced by that lo-fi style quite a bit. Whereas Stylize 1000 takes the reins a little bit and says, you know what, we want to make this look more realistic. This guy is going to be in the subway, but it's going to look a little bit different every time. And on these ones, it's definitely in some different scenes on the subway, but it's Japanese lo-fi style for sure, where this one, I think they try to make it more realistic and artistically pleasing. Next, we're looking at the Uplight Parameter, and the Uplight Parameter allows you to keep a very similar image to the one that you see in your preview grid in MidJourney. I've been frustrated sometimes when I upscale an image and it adds too much detail. And that might sound strange, but sometimes it'll add like people or birds, or it'll add like something that wasn't in the original photo that I liked, and it can ruin the photo sometimes. So if you really like an image, I recommend upscaling it with Uplight. And now I'm going to show you how to use the Uplight parameter. Here's an example of an image that I upscaled and it added some unnecessary details. This is the image that I preferred, and although it isn't perfect, it does fit my needs and I really like the way it looks. So what I did was I hit U2 to upscale this image right here. But what I got was this image, which included all of these weird birds, and it also defined these strange looking lines. Now, this can be fixed in Photoshop later on, but rather than fixing it in Photoshop, I can hit Light Upscale Redo. And what that's going to do is it's just going to redo this without adding a ton of detail, and it's going to make it look more like this original version. Now, as you can see, I have the exact version that I rendered originally, and it doesn't have those weird birds throughout. There is still one little smudge here that I'm going to need to fix up in Photoshop, and I'll probably replace this text anyways, but this is much closer to the original image that I liked the best. Did you know that you can take existing images that you've taken or that you find on royalty-free websites, and you can actually use those images to influence your prompts? Well, now I'm going to show you how to use existing images in MidJourney to do just that. I found this great image on Unsplash of these roses taken by this photographer here. So I'm going to go ahead and open the image in a new tab, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this link. Then we are going to head over to our Discord channel and type in Imagine Prompt. And we're going to paste that image, and then I'm going to type in space, and now we're going to start typing out the rest of our prompt. So what I'm going to type is blended roses with a sculpture of a man from the Renaissance. And as you can see, it took a lot of influence from that image, but I want it to look a little bit different. So I'm also going to add a Stylize parameter on here and see what other kind of images we can get with this inspiration image and this prompt right here. So I'm just going to copy this, /imagine, paste, and I'm going to go ahead and paste my original link in here once again. And then I'm going to add a space after V5 and do --stylize 800. As you can see, it looks a lot more detailed, and I really like this version 2 here, so I'm going to upscale that. And as you can see, we now have this image which took inspiration from that beautiful photo that we had over on Unsplash and added a statue of a Renaissance man. Now let's imagine that we want to have less of these roses and more of the sculpture. Well, in that case, you could use an image weight parameter. So I'm just going to type in /imagine, and I'm going to paste our prompt right here. So paste the image, grab our prompt. We're going to paste that. And then we're going to add a space here and I'm going to type in dash dash IW, which stands for image weight. And we can select an image weight of 0.5 to 2 in our version 5 of MidJourney. So what you can do here, instead of the default weight of 1, we can go with a 0.5, which is a lower image weight. So it's going to put less weight on this image and more weight on our sculpture of a man from the Renaissance. And I'm going to try this with blended roses in the prompt, but I'm also going to try it without and see if that pulls off a different look. All right, here is our result with blended roses included in the prompt, and it didn't get rid of the roses very much, even though I added image weight of 0.5. It did seem to decrease the look of them a little bit, and it also added like some pink roses instead. This one I would say definitely got rid of the roses a bit, but then when I got rid of blended roses, and I just added an image weight of 5, it put the roses more in the background and made the statue more of the forefront of the image. You can also add weight to your prompts so that specific parts of your prompt get more meaning and get more importance than other portions of your prompts. So if you want something to be very prominent within your prompt, then you can give it a high prompt weight. But if you want something to be a little bit more in the background, or you don't want it to be there as much, then you can keep it at the default prompt weight or move it to a lower prompt weight. Prompt weights also separate images. So if we wanted to type /imagine hot dog and hit enter, we would probably get an image of the food hot dog. This one does have a dog, but for the most part, it interpreted this as the food hot dog. But now let's go ahead and try to separate the idea of hot and dog so that we get a dog that's hot rather than a hot dog as a food. So I'm going to type in /imagine and I'm going to type hot : space dog. And now we've separated the idea of hot and dog, and we have some dogs that are panting in most cases, or we have a dog with some clothes on. Now I'm going to change my version to version 4 because this next feature works a lot better in version 4, I found. So this is just going to be where we actually add a weight to hot and dog is just left as dog. Now let's try to add a weight to hot so that we get something that is a little bit more interesting in terms of the word hot. And I'm just going to leave dog at the default, which is 1. So I'm not going to add any weight to that. So here for hot, I'm just going to type 3, and then we're going to add a comma and hit enter. And as you can see, we do get some weird images like this one, but we also get some very interesting looking images like this dog on fire down here. This is pretty neat, and I just like this overall look. So in the future, I'm going to be using this weighting a bit more, but let me know in the comments what you guys are using this weighting for. I'd like to try out some prompts that you guys suggest as well. Next, we'll take a look at tiling in MidJourney to create infinite patterns with your tiles. Now, before we start, it's important to note that you need to be in MidJourney version 5 to do tiling. So I'm just going to type in imagine, and we're going to hit enter, and I'm going to type in a prompt that I want to see an infinite pattern for. So let's just type in feathers falling on the backdrop of a baby blue sky, comma 2D flat, comma cartoon, comma fantastic. And I'm going to end this with dash dash tile. And now we're going to hit enter. Now we've created a tileable image so that if we want to, we can view this image infinitely. So let me show you exactly what I mean. I really like this upper left corner, so I'm going to scale up this U1. Now I'm going to open this link, and I'm going to save this image as a PNG on my computer. And now we'll use this seamless checker website and we'll drag it in here to get an idea of if this is truly seamless. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. So let's drag our feather image into there. And as you can see, it will scale infinitely and it creates this beautiful backdrop that we can use for desktops. We can even sell these on Etsy. These are popular on Etsy. You can sell them as digital paper and you can really scale up a business with this. Some people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just creating images like this. Now I'm going to show you how to touch up MidJourney images within Photoshop so that you can get them to look exactly how you want them to. For instance, if you're generating a logo and you want it to look perfect for your YouTube channel or for your company, then you can drag it into Photoshop and you can touch it up, make it look a bit nicer, and even add your own custom text since MidJourney doesn't allow for text at this point in time. I'm kind of thinking they're going to add something for text in the future because this has always been a problem with these stable diffusion models. And I think that, if they can add text, that's going to be crazy. So let's just show you how to handle this for now. If you want to add text or if you want to touch up a logo, for instance, or any image for that matter. So we have this image that I generated and I wanted to use this as a logo, but it has all of this random text here and it also has this little smudge right here. So I want this to be refined and I want it to look nice for my logo. By the way, this is the text that I used for this logo. This is the prompt that I used. So if you want to copy this, just pause this video and fit this to your needs. But what I'm going to do now is just save this image. So I'm going to open a link to it. And from there, I'm just going to hit save image as, and we'll save it. And now I've got this image opened up in Photoshop and I'm going to tweak this in a couple ways. I'm not the biggest Photoshop expert, so please excuse me to all you Photoshop wizards out there if I'm not doing things adequately. But I am going to show you how you can touch this up a little bit. So what I would do with this is I would just make this area here one big blue area and I would fill it with my own text. So in order to do that, I'm just going to add a new layer and I'm going to zoom in on this and I'm going to hit P for the pen tool if you're in Photoshop. And I'm just going to outline this area. I'm going to hold Shift and click. And then I'm going to drag it down to here and get my exact rounded look here. It wasn't perfectly round to begin with, so that's okay. I'm just going to add a little bit on the outside. And then I'm going to hit Option and click. And I'm going to click and drag on this section here to get it right. Hit Option and click. And I like this little depth that they added here, so I'm going to keep that. Just continue pen tooling this out. I want to get rid of this little blip right here, so I'm just going to pen tool as if that isn't there. And we're going to hit Option click. And finally, we are going to click on our original keyframe here and finish this out. Now, I do like this color, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click now that I have this path and make selection. And I'll keep the feather radius as 0, hit OK. And what I'm going to do is just click on my color right here. And I'm going to pick this color in particular and hit OK. And then I'm just going to go with the brush here. And we'll make it larger and I'm just gonna color over all of this throughout this mask that I made. And then I'm gonna hit this magic wand tool and right click and deselect. Now, as you can see, this isn't perfect. I didn't get these little details in here super well, but if you are doing this, you can take some more time to do it and make sure that it looks absolutely perfect for your liking. And now I'm going to show you how to get rid of this little smudge right here. whatever this is. I don't know what they were trying to do here or what the model was thinking, but I don't like this little smudge, so I'm going to try to remove it. Now I'm just going to use the spot healing brush to get rid of this little smudge right here, and I'm just going to select some area here that looks somewhat similar, hit continue, and I'm just going to brush over this. And as you can see, it'll make it disappear pretty well, and that's pretty quick. You can also use something like runway to do this, I believe, to hide different elements within an image. And one thing that I do want to change about this is I want to add some depth to this blue area. So I might just grab the color right here, and we're about right here. I'm just going to make it a bit darker so that I can add some depth similar to this area right here. And I'm going to hit OK. Then we're going to go to the brush. We're going to make it a lot softer, and we're just going to, we're just going to add another layer. And I'm going to drag this brush out right here so we can add just a bit of depth to this image. I'm going to create clipping mask. And as you can see, this has done a pretty good job, but I did miss these little areas here. So if I wanted to fill those in, I could. I'm not going to for this particular tutorial, but if you wanted to fill those in, you would just do a better job pen tooling than I did. And then we can add some text in here. So I can just choose the text tool, and we'll just click, and I'll add my shop name. So I'll just call my shop Fantastic Swatches. And we will drag it to the center here. And I'm just going to change the font now to something a little bit more whimsical. Now, obviously, I'm not a logo designer, but if you're looking for a quick, easy way to create a logo, this is a method that you can use. And you don't have to use this for wordmark logos like this one right here. You can actually use this to create just different symbols if you want to. Like you could just create a shape that you want your logo to be using MidJourney, and then you could touch it up in a similar way using Photoshop. But in this case, I just went ahead and added some text. So we could also add like some little bars right here if we wanted to. This is probably going to look pretty bad because, like I said, I'm not a logo designer, and I'm also definitely just kind of rushing through this. But if you want to, you can change this up as much as possible to make it look exactly how you want it to. This has been the MidJourney full tutorial, and if you enjoyed this video, then I'm sure you will enjoy this video.